Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, again, the tune is the same. Nothing has changed. Every day when you turn on the media, sometimes you hear some good stuff. Most of the time when I hear stuff that's pretty good, it's about people who have died, or what they call near-death experiences, and they come back, and so many of them say they met Jesus or they had a conversation with Jesus. Yep, they never describe Jesus. They just tell us about what Jesus is sent back to us. Other times you might hear a preacher delivering a message, or should I say reciting the scriptures or reading the scriptures and maybe having a few words on them. You see that, but for the most part, where people are jumping to read about or to hear about is not those particular sessions. They're not talking about people appearing as being an interest. They're more or less concerned about what's happening today. And my argument would be that it isn't that they are not concerned about what might happen in the future. It's just that the presentation is missing. It's off the mark. It's not the kind that draws people to them. Rather than, you see the ugliness that's happening in the world. Well, the people are concerned about that because they know in one capacity or another, every human being on the earth is acting ugly. In other words, we're just like that for some strange reason. And yet, we got people doing things so far out there till it makes what others are doing seem like they are not in violation. But the truth of the matter is, whatever denies life is in that category. In that category. So basically, for some strange reason, as spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, I know how I would like to live. And I know what I've learned through the time that I've been here. And the stuff that I talk about is satisfying. And it's to the extent that it's just from its core satisfying. And so when I think of that, then I think of you having satisfaction from its core. Where you coming from? And when I say satisfaction from its core, I understand, and I hope you can get it as well, is that wherever we're coming from, it does not present any pain, it does not present any suffering to ourselves or to anyone else. But if it does, it's for ourselves, for the benefit of everyone else. And that is a decision, a choice that's made by the individual. And so when I hear, I'm thinking, why aren't we talking about the things that's so common amongst us? That, and the message just comes is that the presentation again, and the best presentation is doing it. It's not talking about it. It's doing it. So when you hear people talk about God is love, then so many people don't know what the hell love is because they never received it. So to them, God is a mystery, something that they don't have time for right now. When you start saying God cares about you, that God wants everybody to have a job, participate in life, that they have food and clothing, and that have access to education, healthcare. When you hear people saying God is about this for everybody, and then everybody looks around and they don't see that for everybody. They see it for somebody. So it makes God appear weak. It makes God, yes, it does. And so when people have the choices to listen to something in the morning time, talking about some scams that took place last night, or the reflection of some stuff that took place a long while ago, but it's still, real, as opposed to listening to what God is going to do that nobody ever seen, then you go right on back to the crooks. And that's a failure. of the people who are supposed to be representing God. When I say failure, I don't mean that they had turned their back on God. I'm saying they've restricted, they've limited themselves. People, everybody that says Lord, Lord, don't necessarily mean Lord, Lord. This is what you failed to get from the messengers. They didn't tell you this. A merger between a church and the state makes for compromises. A merger between church and state makes for compromises. That means there are going to be times when things that are wrong comes up to be discussed, or made a decision on. They're going to pass through and come on the people, just in order for some of the things that's good for the people come to the table, and sometimes they pass through. But there are going to be other times when they won't. But now you got a mixture of confusion. There is, my friend, I heard somebody say one time that the weeds and the wheat grow together, something like that. And then there's going to come a time of harvest. That's supposed to be a message. But to me, there is no way that there's going to be a merger with good and evil. There's just not going to be it. Because the moment that good compromises with evil, it gives power. It gives more life to evil. And no more evil is good for anybody or anyone. So the whole point of it, my friends, is to separate good from that which isn't. Standing up for what's right and not for that which is wrong. And you can't do that. You can't love God and Satan. So, if what in America is happening right now, you got, to me, the way I see it, and I'm sure many other people see it too who care about other folks, you got a whole bunch of people who are representing evil that just got voted into office, and you got a king piece mouth of evil trying to connect every association of power with evil that he controls. I mean, literally controls, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about hoping that they do what he says. Nah. They said the job that they got is contingent on the fact that they are going to do what he said. And so whatever he wants to do, he just look over there and say, oh yeah, I got that, I got that, I got that. And we the people sit back talking about God, a God that's not doing anything. And who's going to win? Who's going to win? Somebody say, well, the devil's going to win. Somebody say, God is never going to lose. Well, God isn't going to lose, that's for sure. But in the meantime, look at the hell that everybody's going through. And it's their own choice because they refuse. And they can't refuse, my friend. I'm tell you, I keep wanting to look like condemn you, but they can't actually condemn you when you don't know any better. And what you do know is what you've been taught. That's why we have to be judged every day. That's why we are punished every day or rewarded every day. But the whole key, my friends, is how to eliminate that which is not acceptable. How do we eliminate it? You gotta change. Somebody say you gotta be born again. You got to want this. How do you think that young man felt that went and shot this administrator in insurance the other day? What would drive this young man who seemed to have everything going for him to do something that's going to cause all these problems? To him, what he was doing is going to hurt him and might affect the guy that he killed and his family, but that was a choice he made. So for him, one of the best things that he could do for society was to say, this crap does not work and you should reassess it. But who's going to do that? Who's going to reassess that? We are not about those kinds of changes. And we want you to know that Violence is never acceptable to anybody who might be contemplating this kind of thing. It's never acceptable, but it's still a choice. And when you make that choice, depending upon where you're at in the resistance, where you're at in the system, you see, because they used to say that no one was above the law. They used to say that, and people kind of believed it. Not everybody, but most of them believed it. Now, everybody knows that there are those above the law. Everybody, I don't know now all over the world because they might not be paying attention, but everybody in the United States, denied or not, knows that there are those above the law. Not that many, gotta be special, but there are those above the law. And so, as long as you got that and you got people passing laws to make sure that you can extend that thing for those above the law, that put all of the rest of the people who are not embracing this, and you're going to have those people that's not embracing that because they took division in order for that power to be created. But you're going to have to always be able to control and manipulate that. And as long as you're doing that, you're really not going anywhere. You're really just fussing. Like I've been fussing for all these years. I call myself coming up with solutions every now and then, but who's going to talk about a solution? You know, even the plan is that when Jesus returns, the only reason you'll be temporarily accepted is because of a miracle that he does. You're going to have to do something. You got to come here talking about the people got to do something. Oh no, the people don't want to hear that. I don't really know why. I can think of a lot of things, but I'm sure you can too. But the answer is that we're going to have to want to be free from anything that we don't like, anything that hurts us. And we're going to have to want that for not only ourselves, but for everybody else. And when you start going that route, you start looking for how do you do that? How do you achieve that? And you'll be surprised. That's what they did when they came up with the nuclear bombs and stuff. Everything that they advanced, what they call discovered, really discovered, when they went through it, hey, it had nothing. It was a dream, just a vision. But you go at it. Next thing you know, you're putting a horse and buggy down, and you're flying spaceships. So we put this hell down, this pain, this suffering, this lying, this cheating, this hating, this racism, this bigotry, this killing and war. Put that crap down. Everybody hear my voice. Put that crap down. Let that start being shit on your hands and get it all quick. And start loving, making sure that there's peace, prosperity, freedom, joy, and happiness, and people can live their dreams. Start guaranteeing that that stuff happens. Make sure that people, including you, your needs, your wants, and your desires are met at your leisure. Come on, my friend. We can do that. Let's get busy and start talking about it. Why? Well, just think about this. Wake up tomorrow morning, and all the news stations, all the mass media that's doing this, talking about all this ugly stuff. We needed it, but we keep hearing it every day. We don't have to keep hearing it. Let us start talking about what we just got through saying. Let us start talking about everybody having a job and jobs that they love. Let us start lifting it up and be excited about it. And goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, you watch how fast things change. Come on. Because people will be seeing God in action. Tired of talking. They want to see God in action. Well, seeing God in action is the answer. Goodbye.